What's up, everybody? I have right here for you the coronavirus bailout money project, also called the CARES Act. There's a ton of money in here. There's money for big businesses, small businesses, individuals, families, everybody, business owners and employees. So I've got a ton of stuff to go in here. I've put together the most exhaustive list of what you can get, who can get it, and where to get it, and some of the details for how long they last. Let me see here. A few things before I get going. A few warnings, okay? Do not trust me. Do your own homework and verify everything I say. Secondly, this is not investment advice, only commentary. Contact a trusted legal, tax, and investment professional after you see this. I've got so much information here. I'm not a CPA, a lawyer, and everything else all rolled into one. Be smart. This bill is over 800 pages of legal language. It just got signed into law a week ago or so. There's still a lot of confusion. And then fifth, some states are doing some of their own bailout money, so verify. Yes, some states are taking this program, taking bits and pieces, and then doing a little bit of their own extra. So figure out which state you live in, obviously, and see if they have something for you. And then finally, comment in the comments below with whatever your questions are or whatever your findings are, or if you see something I said that's been updated or changed, whatever you have, if you can contribute to this and make this a little bit of a brain trust, that would be amazing. And then finally, share this with your community. Everyone in America is going through the exact same thing right now. So, okay. I think that's it. One last thing, this is going to be kind of fast. I'm not going to take my time. I'm not going to go into depth. This is going to be somewhat rapid fire because there's so much information. So what you're going to have to do at home is, like I said already, check the sources, do some of your own work, but also you're going to have to hit pause so that you can read more in depth of some of the things I'm saying. So, okay, here we go. What will be covered? So the first one, this is what everyone's interested in, the PPP, which is the Paycheck Protection Program, and EDIL, I think it's Emergency Disaster, something, whatever. Families and individuals, Families First Act, that $1,200 check you keep hearing about, medical coverage and federal medical programs, WIC, SNAP, food banks and food stamps, other government assistance like that, Veterans Affairs, emergency family leave, tenant protections, very important, tenant protections. Here's the second batch. Emergency paid leave and paid sick leave, credit reporting and credit cards, student loans and higher education, mortgage loan coverage, unemployment and underemployment coverage. It's a new term they've kind of created. Investment accounts for retirement, charitable boosts, and aviation industry protections. At the end of this, I'm going to try to go back to this and summarize. So if you want to skip to the very end of the video right now, you can watch me summarize what each of these things are on both of these pages, okay? Before I get into all of it though, I want to show you this. This was put out just this morning. President Trump tweeted, "I will immediately ask Congress for more money to support small business under the PPP loan if the allocated money runs out." Okay, cool. He's in support. Here's Steve Mnuchin. He tweeted this yesterday afternoon. Now, whether you're for or against this whole bailout package, it's here and now we're dealing with it, right? Steve Mnuchin tweeted this: update, over $1.8 billion of PPP loan now processed by SBA, mostly all from community banks, big banks taken in large amounts but not yet submitted in these numbers. Bravo! Amazing job treating the government like a business. I don't think in any other administration, any other political type of administration, this would have happened. It would have been fumbled and bumbled. Money would have gone to all the wrong places. Things wouldn't have worked properly. And here they've already got $1.8 billion done on the first day. That's incredible. I love that. I love that President Trump is trying at least to treat the government like a business. Okay, what's in it? This is a little visualization. You can see here, this is a lot of what is being sent out. And this is a lot of who's getting that money. Of course, we're all paying for it. It's either being printed by the Federal Reserve or taxes, but probably not taxes, mainly just, like it says here, moving money around and the Federal Reserve. One thing I didn't list that I really don't like about this bill is that the Federal Reserve got a chance to keep all of their minutes and notes private and not have to share. They can selectively choose what they want to share, which I don't really like that idea. Okay, so first things first. Ooh, citation needed, right? Do not be dumb. I told you earlier, you need to check my work. You should do your own homework. Citation needed. Where am I pulling all this information from? Right here. This is the bill. This is the piece of legislation right here that got passed. It's really cool. Congress.gov, type in CARES Act, or just type that into Google, it'll come up. It's a Senate Bill 3548 to provide emergency assistance and healthcare response for individuals, families, and businesses affected in the 2020 coronavirus pandemic. And what's cool about doing this on this website is like this is what your elected officials are doing. They're doing their job, and now you can actually see. Now you can see this for every piece of legislation that gets signed into law, but most of them we don't care about, right? This is an important one, so go here. You can look. Again, here's the different pieces I told you I'd cover. Here you can learn all about the small business interruption loans. You can actually see what they've put. They have waiver of matching fund requirement under Women's Business Center program, minority business development. Like, go check that stuff out if you're interested. This is your country at work. Right here, this is the important one for the families. Relief, individuals and families and businesses, rebates and other provisions. You can come down here, you can see what's going on in the aviation industry. Let's see here. Here are some details. We'll go over some of these in a moment. Medical stuff. Like, let's see. Here's, if you want to know, if you are interested, for example, they're about to upgrade the entire supply, national security strategic supply. Right here, you could click 4101 right here and read all about how they're going to do that. So go home and do this on your own. So also this is from, okay, first topic is the PPP loans. If you're a business owner, this is from the SB, Small Business Entrepreneurship U.S. Senate Committee. It's 4 pages. I'm not going to go through it, but it has a ton of Q&A right from the guys who wrote this stuff. I said I'm not going to go through it, so in the comments below, after this video is done, I'm going to put everything I present here in the links below, in the comments, so check those as well. All right, so now I'm actually going to start with the employees first. Give me 1 second. I want to go, okay, business owners, I'll get you guys next. First things first, employees. If you just got fired or laid off or whatever it's called, then you have unemployment insurance. It's already available. You can get it right now. However, with this act, this piece of legislation that just got passed, you can get $600 more from the federal government, and check your state you live in, because a lot of the states are starting to boost their own as well. These things are done through the Department of Labor. So go to the Department of Labor website, and it's all right there. In fact, I'll do it with you. Department of Labor, dol.gov, boom, it's all right here. They're way ahead of this. They're very prepared for you right now. So here, oops, I apologize. Here are the, here's who's covered. Everybody is covered. They have all of these different reasons why you might be affected. Like, you can look at just anything. They had one here that said, that like I don't know, ridiculous, just any reason you'd want. Now look at this, there's 2 people who can't. Those of you that are still working telework, sorry, you guys can't get you're still working. And then if you're already getting paid sick leave, so maybe you're on maternity leave, or maybe you're already on some type of sick leave, you can't double dip. Okay, now this is just to replace your paycheck. There are so many more programs. Stick around. Here we go. Here's the second piece for business owners, okay? This is what you want to see, okay? This is the 1-page overview. There are 2 loans you can get. You can get the PPP loan, and you can also get the EIDL loan. The PPP one is the one everybody's talking about. You take 2 months, 2.5 times your business's average monthly payroll. There are some details, so again, call a professional. It's stuff like payroll, taxes, and others. That loan, they will give that loan to you at a 1% rate. No payments for the first 6 months, and up to 100% people will be approved. If, however, you spend that money on approved expenditures, which is like rent, utilities, and payroll, they'll forgive the loan. Okay? Now, same thing, excuse me, not the same on this side, but very similar. This one, you can get up to $10,000. And if you spend it on the approved things I just said a moment ago, they will forgive the loan. It's that simple. Now what's happening is the federal government is issuing this, sending it over to the SBA, Small Business Administration, and they are telling all the local banks and national banks, these are the rules, get the money. And the banks in your city are just throwing money at you, and then at the end of the night calling up the SBA and saying, make me good. So that's how this money is getting out so quickly. As for those of you who are business owners and you want to know the details of the PPP, this is the best website I've possibly found. I follow this guy, Phil Taylor, Part-Time Money. Without doubt, the best website right now. He's got everything in here. Let me go straight to what I know you guys want to see, and that is how much you can possibly get. He's got this calculator right here. He wrote this little script. Read it. It says, enter your business total payroll cost data in the fields below. Okay, let's just say $100,000 per month. You are eligible for $31,000. Nice. Okay, you combine that with that $10,000, that's $41,000. And again, it can be all forgiven very quickly. I'm not going to go through all of this because he's doing a live update right now, and so I can't keep up with this. Now, right here, also keep in mind, payroll tax credits, those are coming in. Payroll for tax credits for the business owner and for the employees. Right here, it says 2 new employer tax provisions are also available to most employers, including nonprofits, with the goal of helping them keep more employees on payroll. One thing about the PPP, you have to keep your employees on the payroll. Was that on here? Yeah, you can't. What you can't do is fire your employees. I know it's down here. Let's see. Here are the other pieces of eligibility for the PPP. An eligible recipient receiving loan forgiveness under this section shall make a good faith certification that the uncertainty of economic conditions justifies the loan request to support. Okay, yes, be honest, don't lie, and here's the loan. You can borrow up to the lesser of 2.5 times your average monthly payroll for the last 12 months or $10 million. That's where we did that calculator just a second ago. The loan forgiveness, okay, here's the part you all already know about. Now here's the exciting part. Any qualifying expense you incur in an 8-week period during the program window are eligible for loan forgiveness. Qualifying expenses include salaries, of course, but they also include rent, mortgage, group health insurance, utilities, interest, and other minor expenses. So as long as you spend the money they give you on qualified expenses, loan forgiveness. It's really amazing. Now again, go to this guy's website, PT Money. He's got a lot more. Now this isn't up to date, but you can contact your bank. Every single bank out there right now is prepared. They've got the stuff. Right here, if you want to, you can go to sba.gov, just type it in, you'll find it, download PDF, boom, that's the app. Fill the application out and take it to your bank. Be proactive on this. If you want the EIDL loan, again, right here, the link will be in the video description here in a moment. So you need 2 different loans, one for the PPP, one EIDL. Okay, so we talked about workers. Now, we got families out there. There's so much different stuff. Let me see here. We have what they're doing, basically a secondary type of unemployment insurance, which is emergency family leave and emergency paid sick leave. I'm going to read this little piece here. The table below provides a summary of key provisions of the Families First Act, which addresses the domestic outbreak, including paid sick leave, insurance coverage of corona testing, nutrition assistance, and unemployment benefits. They are bulking up on all sorts of unemployment assistance, food assistance, federal workers taken care of, and then any type of welfare for the most part. Now, this is all going. The food piece is all going through your normal Department of Ag, USDA. Down here, yes, emergency family and medical leave. Again, it's very, very vague what counts. So if you talk to your boss and you say, hey boss, look, I'm kind of nervous. I'd like to work from home for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Here's this piece of legislation that just got passed. here's the rule. It says exactly the following, and then you can work from home. Now, it says here, the employee is unable, let me zoom in a little bit for you at home. The employee is unable to work due to a need for leave to care for their child because the school or daycare has been closed, or the child care provider is unable due to a public health emergency. Pay not less than 2/3 of the employee's regular pay. So you get at least 75% of your pay, up to $200 a day, and $10,000 over the period. This can go for 12 weeks. So $10,000 over 12 weeks, not bad. Again, you need to go to the Department of Labor. You see this right here, Department of Labor. You need to go to the Department of Labor's website and apply for this stuff. Call them all. There's phone numbers, there's emails, all of it. They're all local too. They've got them all over the country. Now we'll go, this is not the only part though. This is for the family. It's same thing for emergency unemployment. Again, same situation. They have, and then here, emergency paid sick leave. And this is I've read through so many different bullet points on here that every single time it's who's qualified, it's everybody. They make such a long list of who can get in. Okay, so now let's see here. Back here, no, we'll just keep going. So now this piece here, I wanted to highlight right here. There are actually two bills passed. I don't know if you know that. The very big one that was passed about a week ago, and a smaller one that was passed about a month ago. That was kind of the first wave of this stuff. They put right here, a waiver removing restrictions on Medicare providers, allowing them to offer telehealth services to beneficiaries, regardless of whether the beneficiary is in a rural community. So your doctor, if you're in the healthcare industry, if you have a clinic of any type, as long as you can permit, you can do telehealth and get compensated for that. Again, healthcare workers, you've probably heard rumors about them bringing healthcare individuals and past nurses and doctors who have retired back in, right? Well, that's true. That's right here, section 4211 to 4216. You can read all the details, but I want to read this one piece here, 4216. Limitation on liability for volunteer healthcare professionals during the coronavirus emergency response. Not only are they making it incredibly easy for all of you to get back in, not only are they setting money aside for you all to get paid, but this is the important part, they're waiving all liability that you may have, unless it's negligent, criminal, all of that kind of stuff. But you can see it right here, okay? Pretty cool stuff. Now, you've heard about the $1,200, right? The $1,200, everybody's getting it. Here's the best infographic that I could find about that $1,200 check. So obviously it says here, you know, it's made it times hard, blah, blah, blah. Right here. If you made up to $7,500, $75,000, you're going to get a $1,200 check. Or $2,400 for joint, or a plus $500 like it says right here for every child. However, if you make 75 to 99, you get slightly less. And then I actually, I think I closed the link. Let me see. I was going to say, I think once you make a certain payment, certain income, you don't. So let's see here. Yeah, less than 150 a year, 200 a year. So obviously this is for the bottom 98% of Americans. So here's what how do you get it and when do you get it? That's the one thing I haven't found until now. How and when do I get the payment? Let me zoom in for those of you watching. While Americans with Social Security numbers do not need to apply to receive the payments, the IRS needs to have bank account information on file in order to send out the cash via direct deposit. So if you've done your taxes in the past and there's a direct deposit into your bank in the past, what they're not being clear about, which I haven't found, is what if you did your stuff through TurboTax? Is that the same? Or what if you did it through H&R Block? Is that the same? In fact, I'll type it in right now. Let's just see. TurboTax. We'll go to their homepage. Let's see if they have it listed. They should. No, they didn't. Shame. So what it's saying here is that you don't have to do anything. The money's going to automatically come to you. If they don't have your stuff on file, they're going to send it by mail, which could take up to 5 months, they're saying right here. However, Secretary Treasury Steve Mnuchin said that they will, quote, create a web-based system for people where we don't have their direct deposit, they can upload it so that they can get money immediately as opposed to checks in the mail. Nice. Okay. And then here's a good question. Will I have to pay the $1,200 back in the future? No, you won't. And obviously criticisms is inflation, expanding the balance sheet, irresponsible monetary policy, but this is also an emergency, so you can make a good argument for why we should. Okay. So yes, there's $1,200 checks. They're coming automatically unless, you should double check or whatever. I don't know. It's not just $1,200 checks. This is the part I mentioned earlier about the employees who are unemployed and now getting unemployment insurance. You're probably getting really nervous because you have a lot of expenses, right? Check out all of the stuff here. This money.com article is great. It's got so much information and it's all sourced and linked. So check this out. $1,200 stimulus check. We already went over that. File for unemployment and get an extra $600 a week. We already talked about that. Suspend your mortgage payment. If you have federally backed mortgage and you've lost income due to the COVID outbreak, you can get a 60-day forbearance. Now, I've talked to a lot of people. We say, forbearance? What is forbearance?
Forbearance.
Yeah, forbearance, patience, self-control, restraint. Forbearance basically just means a grace period, okay? You can get a 60-day grace period on your mortgage payments with the option to extend that up to 4 additional 30-day periods. So let's see, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4, 5, 6. Is that 7 months then? 4, 2, 6 months in all. So to do so, you must contact your lender and explain your situation. Again, if you read the bill, right here, we can go down to, I'm not going to try to find it. I was reading earlier. It says who is eligible for this. It's so open to everyone. It doesn't matter who you are. Call your lender and tell them that you want. Same thing goes if you're an investor. If you have a federally backed loan for your duplex, triplex, whatever it is, if it's federally backed, you can call your lender and get the same thing. They've got money set aside to help federally backed mortgages for individual homes if it's yours, and also investment properties. Catch a break on student loan interest. The CARES Act builds, let me zoom in on this for you guys. I apologize if you're squinting in there. Catch a break on student loan interest. The CARES Act builds on previously announced student loan relief that would have given borrowers with federal student loans a 60-day forbearance and 0 interest accrual for that period. So not only can you get your loans for your home put on pause, you can get your student loans put on pause. Doesn't matter who you are. Oh, it does say here they have to be obviously federal loans, but that's like 90% of federal, or 99% of federal loans. We already went over the small business loan. Here was, yes, take advantage of a new tax deadline. In about, 11 days? 11 days taxes are due, April 15th, right? That's going to be pushed back to July 15th. So now it's April, May, June, July. You get 3 extra months to figure this out, okay? Now this is kind of interesting as well. Make penalty-free 401k and IRA withdrawals. Okay, this is crazy. Again, not only that, but for IRA people, you can delay that required distribution for those of you who have if you're old or if you've inherited money. Right here. The stimulus bill temporarily waives the age threshold of 59.5 for making retirement account withdrawals without having to pay a 10% penalty. The stipulation is good for withdrawals up to $100,000 and covers IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, so all of them. You also get 3 years to pay off the associated income tax on the distribution, or 3 years to pay yourself, that is, pay it back, put the money back in. While it could be a lifeline if you're strapped for cash and you're either ineligible, Again, right here, this article is so cool because it's got everything sourced. It's awesome. Now go down here. Like I said, you can delay your required distribution. Next, if you do charity, if you like to give charity away, check this out. The new legislation lets you deduct an additional $300 to donations made to a qualified nonprofit. This move to encourage people to give back is an above-the-line deduction, meaning that even people who don't itemize and take the standard deduction, you'll be able to get. They're giving you not only the tax break, but they're giving you an extra. It's ask your tax accountant or CPA. It's a very cool thing. Now let me see. What do we have? What else? Okay, this is also hidden in the CARES Act Credit reporting. You have credit cards, you're having a tough time paying those off, and your student loan, and of course you are. Right here, Section 4021 of the law revises the Fair Credit Reporting Act and affects any consumer lender who furnishes credit reporting information due to an accommodation for hardships resulting from the virus. If you call your credit card company and you say, I'm having financial hardships, can we put my payments on pause? They will do it. This is the part where I was talking about mortgages, and this also right here talks more about investment properties. And yes, okay, let's continue. Let's see, yes, renter protection. Okay, so you don't own your apartment, you don't own your home, you rent, but you're still having hard times and you can't pay, huh? Good for you. The CARES Act eviction moratorium covers all federally financed rentals. That's 1 in 4 U.S. rental units. So if you live in an apartment building or a home and you pay your landlord monthly payments, and that landlord's home or whatever that you live in has a federal loan, then there is money set aside for your landlord. Tell your landlord that you're having a hard time paying rent. There is a program sitting there, right there, to make up for that. Take advantage of this program. It says, what renter protections have been announced? Basically, oops, I'll zoom in again. I apologize. You can, again, pause this screen if you want to and read it on your own. I'm not going to. I'm just going to read the bullet points. It halts evictions of renters living in single-family and multifamily properties with federally backed mortgages for 120 days, regardless of whether the landlord receives any type of grace period. Hey, it halts evictions of renters from federally backed multifamily properties whose landlords receive forbearance effective the duration for forbearance, which is capped at 90 days. All right, cool. Let's see, how are we doing here? Okay, cool. Now, in Kansas, as if that wasn't enough, Governor Kelly in Kansas actually signed an executive order prohibiting evictions all across the state. So you can't even get evicted right now. Not only that, Missouri has not done the same, but Missouri in Jackson County, so the Kansas City Metro, Jackson County has. So again, you cannot be kicked out. All evictions have been put on hold. So you guys, let me go back to this. I said I would go up here and cover this one more time. We went over this for all the business owners. We went over all the stuff that families are going to get. That $1,200 check. We talked about medical coverage and federal medical programs. Let me add here, Medicare, Medicaid, all of those have been bulked up majorly. All of the elderly programs. If you're an older person, you got nothing to worry about. There's a lot of money they put aside. All sorts of welfare, especially food programs, are being bulked up. Veterans Affairs, I didn't see it. I may have closed it. There's a huge amount of money that's been carved out just to go to the VA. So all of you vets, go to the VA. There is a ton of money there for you right now. Don't be nervous. If you can, hopefully short wait times. Emergency family leave, it's protected. Tenant protections, whoops, we went over that. Emergency paid leave and sick leave, we went over that. Credit reporting and credit cards, call them up. Get those put on hold. Student loans and higher education issues. I actually did not go. You guys need to check this out. There is a ton of education stuff because I did miss some of that now that I look at this. Right here, the education provisions, basic federal Pell Grants, work study during a qualifying emergency, supplemental education opportunity grant for emergency aid, HBCU, historically black colleges and university financing. I mean, there's money everywhere in this. Temporary relief for federal student loan borrowers, the provisions, all that stuff. There's a lot in there. Labor provisions, these are for all the workers. You can read subtitle D for all the financials, for those of you who like to see finances and medicine. So anyway, let me see here. We went over that. We went over mortgage and loan coverage. Again, call your mortgage provider. Ask them for a grace period. Unemployment and underemployment. I forgot to mention, not only can you get unemployment, there's a lot of drama of, oh, well, what if you have a part-time job? You shouldn't get any. They consider you now underemployed. You can still get this stuff. Also, there's a lot of drama between 1099 employee contractors. It looks like they've changed it and contractors are now covered. Again, check my work in the comments if I'm mistaken. Investment accounts for your IRAs and such. Again, we went over that. Charitable boost and aviation industry protections. I didn't go over this actually, but I'm sure the aviation industry knows there's a ton of money set aside to cover them. Okay, you guys, that's all I've got. Like I said, I'm going to do this. Actually, I'm going to work my way back up. Warnings. Do not trust me. Do your own homework and verify everything I said. Please comment below with anything, questions, clarifications, and whatever. This is not investment advice, only commentary. After you've gone through all this and you've written down all this stuff and gotten your notes, contact a trusted legal, tax, or investment professional. And like I said, there's still much confusion, and it looks like there may be another one in the works right now for us to dig through. So, and then finally, some states are doing some of their own bailout programs, so find out from your own state. Okay? Share this with everybody you know. I appreciate it. Take care. See ya.